Hi everyone, and welcome to WHIP UFO Land. Today is Sunday, November 15th, 2020, and I'm sharing all my unfinished knitting projects. A WHIP, W-I-P, is a work in progress, and a UFO is an unfinished object. And at first I thought, well, what's the difference between a work in progress and an unfinished object? Isn't they basically the same thing? They can be. But then in my mind I realized that a work in progress is a project that I'm actually planning on finishing, and an unfinished object is something I probably won't. So today I have gathered all of my WHIPs and UFOs, and haven't quite decided yet. Maybe you can help decide which ones to finish and which ones to frog. In knitting land, frog means to rip it out, and that is kind of fun sometimes. So I want to start with a quick scan of all the projects before I go one by one. First, we're starting over there is Sleeping in the Sunshine is my cat, and like every good mommy, we don't want to wake her up. Oh, there goes Big Brother's tail, but he's smart enough not to bother her. Okay, you can see there's a blanket, bunch of things. I brought them all in here into the kitchen because I have really good light. My studio downstairs and my living room here are really dark. So I'm going to swing back around, and I've kind of put them in chronological order. Over here is probably my most epic. I'm going to call it a work in progress, not a UFO. This has been in the attic. Oh gosh. 10 years. I started it over 10 years ago. Look at it, I love it. The goal is to make a queen size blanket. When I started making this blanket, I mean, who can afford to buy all of this yarn at once? So my bedroom was lavender and sage, or green and purple. So I started collecting yarn in different shades of darker and a lighter purple and a darker and a lighter green, and also white. Now the only characteristic they all had to have in common is that I wanted them to all be 100% wool. So I'm going to bring it up a little closer so you can see that it's still attached. They're all wool. They're all different, fuzz, different shades of purple and green. So I put a lot of time into this. It has a really long needle. Okay, one of the reasons I own a lot of sets of needles is because when I have an unfinished object or a work in progress, the needles stay with it. So I do have, this is, it's more than halfway done, and I have a whole bag of yarn that I already collected. Where did it go? Well, it's here, of all different greens and purples to finish that project. So that is, I'm still calling it a work in progress because it's just too gorgeous to give up on it. Put way too much time in. Okay, so then we're going to swing it around here. I have almost a complete outfit. Sweater, cowl, fingerless gloves, pocketbook, socks. All you need is jeans and a t-shirt and you're ready to go. Guess what? None of it is finished. Okay, probably the oldest one. This was my first felting project. Okay, it's felted. You knit it, and then the felting is a process that only works with the 100% wool, and the fibers all come together and actually form a fabric. So it can't unravel anymore once it's felted. I still have in here this, look at this cute button. It goes perfectly. Here's the little flap. So literally all I have to do is sew on the button and I have a magnetic clasp in here. Okay, so close, yet so far. Almost done. So I guess that's an unfinished object because it's not really work in progress because it's done. Okay, next I had when I found these in the attic recently, whoops, all they needed was one more thumb. Okay, so I had them completely done except one thumb. So I did the thumb. Now all I have to do is weave in the ends. These are alpaca, they're really soft. Oh. So all I have to do for these is weave in the ends. How easy is that? Okay, I must be really lazy at finishing because I have so many projects that just need finishing. So all of that one I have to sew on a button. This one I have to weave in the ends. Okay, this basically is done. This is cashmere. I don't even remember, a couple of years ago, at least a couple of years ago, I made these. When I could finally afford to buy this little mini set of cashmere minis. And I did the tube, and I even, look how perfect my Kitchener stitch is. It's the way that you attach the tube. All I have to do is weave in two ends, and this gorgeous cashmere cowl is done. That would make a great gift, or it'll be fun to wear. So another one almost done. Okay, here's what happens when you make socks and mittens. They call it second sock syndrome. See if you can figure out what happened to me. See if you can figure out what second sock syndrome is. It happens with sleeves, it happens with mittens. It's when you have to make two of the exact same thing and you never finish the second one because you... Okay, now come on. All I have to do is finish a toe. Jeepers. And look how pretty those socks are. I remember the name. This was Hue Loco yarn, and the name of the color is called Aloha. Okay, so one toe to go. Okay, now the sweater. This was the first time that someone had brought a stash of yarn into work. I remember I was not new at knitting, but new at stashing yarn. And there was a whole bunch of this hot pink folky yarn, and I found this pattern called Nimbus. And as you can see, wait, I should try it on. Oops, sorry. Well, it's a vest. All I have to do is finish the sleeves. Okay, back this up so you can see. So close, and it crosses, and you put a button here. Okay? So close, yet so far. There's another great pair of needles. Okay, there's another pair of needles. Can't use them for anything else right now. Oh, and also on my socks, I use 2 pair to go in a circle. So now I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of needles in the middle of projects, and I'm caught in the ball of yarn. So those ones were super old. So now we'll move down the counter a little bit. Okay, now I have some that are so close to being done. These are water bottle covers. And I actually did finish one. Okay, and you can, let me see if I can find something in the fridge to demonstrate. Let's see. Okay, well, here's a can of something cold. Okay, and you can just slip. It's like a sock. Okay, and with the ribbing, you can just fold over the top to whatever height you need. Okay? And wool is a natural insulator. Keep things warm or cold. So I have one that's so worn out it has a hole in it. So I had made a bunch of these, but I just never sewed it together. So here's some nice easy gifts. 1, 2. We're going to put a cable on that one. Cabling. This one is a little moss stitch. Or seed stitch or something. I don't know, I made it so long. Okay, and then this one I did a little pattern of the pearls. Look how cute those are. So, all I have to do is sew those together. Okay, so those are my water bottle covers. This is, okay, I made this not that long ago, and let me show it to you. It's supposed to be a shawl, but it did not come out very big. It's more like a shawlette. And I was kind of annoyed because there's not really enough of it to, wrap around. So, but once I started making this other cowl, which I'll show you in a few minutes, I had a different idea. I'm going to sew this into a cowl. I'm going to bring the back, sew them together, and then it'll be a nice cowl. So this one is actually done. I just need to weave in the ends. Look how pretty. The pattern was called, the yarn color is called Snow Dog, and proceeds from the purchase of this kit helped the ASPCA, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Just have to weave in an end and block it. Okay, blocking is when you wet it and lay it all out. I'll do another video on blocking. Okay, moving right along. Okay, these are leg warmers, or I call them ankle cozies. Okay, because a lot of times I don't wear, you can't fit big, thick socks in your boots. And for some boots, like if you wear Uggs, I don't wear socks inside my Uggs, but I slip this on so that it keeps my ankles warm. So I call them ankle cozies, or if you're from the 80s like me, leg warmers, but they're just little short ones. And here's another pair in purple and green. I sort of did the opposite with the pattern. Kind of bright, but fun. All I have to do is weave in the ends. Hello. You could even turn these little tubes into a fingerless glove if you attach it. So maybe I'll just turn these into some fingerless gloves too. You could do whatever you want with them. These were just a couple years ago, not that long ago. Here's a project I call my airplane scarf, because every time I traveled on an airplane I would bring it with me because it was small and portable, and there was no hurry to finish it, and I could remember the pattern. Here's another pair of needles. Okay, where's the front? This is silk yarn. It's really soft and drapey. So the pattern is called Feather and Fan. You can see how it's fan where it fans out, and feather. It goes back and forth, creates little ripples. So it's really into Feather and Fan. Was probably the first lace pattern that I tried with knitting, and it's the same that's on the purple. Well, it's more like a chevron because there's sharp points. And over here it's a little wavier. It's the same idea. You add stitches here with the holes, and then you take them away here to make it go the other way. So this is my airplane scarf. I'm not sure if I'm going to, I don't know, it's one of those I'll probably never finish, so it's definitely going to be a UFO. I don't know if I'm not into it. And here's another pair of needles. What size are these? Oh, nice 3s. So I've just kept it. I guess I don't know if I'm going to finish that. Okay, moving on. Here's another project from a long time ago, and these are felted, and when you put them all together it makes a really cute cat. I just don't remember how it all works. So somehow this little square thing makes the body. Look, I already have the legs. Maybe that's the tail. Oh, that's the tail. I already have the tail, 4 legs, and 2 ears. All I have to do is put it together, but I don't remember. I felted them. Isn't that cute? I don't remember where that pattern is. I have not come across it. So I will keep it for now. I don't know where the pattern is. Or I don't remember what it's supposed to look like when it's done. I remember I made one and gave it away as a gift. Okay, moving right along. Okay, this was a test knit, which means somebody created a new pattern and they ask people to test knit it, which means they go, here's my directions. Can you try making it with my directions and make sure I did it correctly? So I don't remember what the name of the cowl is. It's on my Ravelry page. But you can see that I used up all kinds of my mini scraps. These are all different colors held together, and it makes a really pretty, it's called marl. I'm just not sure if I'll keep it. You know, see what it looks like on. Okay, it is pretty cute. Maybe I'll give it as a gift. I don't know. Right now it's a UFO. Honestly, all I have to do is finish the edge. Okay, wow. Another example of me not being very good at finishing an entire cowl complete. Just have to finish an edge. Okay, moving right along down the counter. There's still more. Okay, let me move this a little closer so you can see what's going on. All right, let's just jump right to the big red sweater. I did do, I think, a video on this back in the spring. I cast it on in March, and it's supposed to be a duster. I have everything done except the sleeves. Okay, now I'm going to turn it this way so I can walk back here and you can see. Whoops, caught on this one. Hold on. Trailing the yarn. Okay, now. Supposed to, wait, that side doesn't look right because another pair of needles. Okay, it's supposed to have this long point. It's going to have these sleeves. Here's the problem. I don't like it anymore. It's too heavy. Cotton yarn, maybe I would just keep it as a vest and give it as a gift to somebody because I'm too short. It's way too long for me. And this is so heavy. Cotton yarn is really heavy to knit with. And I just don't want to do it anymore. Sorry to say. Okay, now on the same note, this was the yarn the designer chose. So I had ordered the kit, but I was so excited to start it that before it could even get to my house, I ran out to the yarn store and bought different yarn. Now look at how different yarn makes the same pattern. Look how much shorter it is. Hold on, I'll hold them together. And it's just a completely different garment because of the yarn. Okay, this is a really nice light. It's actually silk and cotton maybe. It's really squishy and soft, and this is heavy cotton. Either way, I don't like either of them. So they are going to be frogged, which means ripped out. So I'm going to put those in the frog box over here. Okay, moving right along. Here is, I've made this scarf pattern before. It's called the Hitchhiker or Hitchhiker Beyond. It's kind of cute. I just don't know if I really like it. I don't know. It's all right. It's made from this really nice bulky yarn, a Malabrigo Rasta or something, I think. I just don't know. It's okay. I don't know. What do you think? Does it look cute? It's not bad. It might make a cute gift. Okay, moving right along is, okay, how cute is this? If you look back at my videos, you can see that I started this also way back in March or February. And this is my spirit animal for the year because I'm moving really slowly this year and I don't even care. With my knitting, I mean, because I can. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about UFOs and whips for a minute and why I have so many unfinished things, because I can. In my job, I'm not allowed to leave things unfinished because that would be unprofessional. And someone will probably call me out on it. And at home, this is my creative space and I'm in charge of my knitting. Nobody can come along and say, if you don't finish this sloth by Friday, then I don't know what there's no consequences for my knitting. That's the beauty of it. And I love this little thing and it's adorable. All I really I need one more leg and a little tiny tail. I even have it half stuffed and I already did the face. Oh, and the little claws. Okay? How cute is that? But I figured since it's a sloth, I could go as slow as I wanted to. So baby sloth, go back to sleep for a little while. Now these are some other felting projects I made a while ago, years ago when I was really into felting. And felting can make, this is not from yarn, this is just from fiber that I felted, and that's a whole other thing I will get into because I've collected a lot of fiber. And I dug this out of, in the attic. It was in a box with stuff. And I found in here like little tiny owl puffs. But this is a finished object, but here I found it inside. I was really into these, I don't know how long ago, and I made a bunch of little owls. Aren't they cute? And what else is in here? I was going to make this into a little pouch. Here's the zipper that I was going to sew in. Wouldn't that be nice? And inside it's green. It's a different color. I never got to that. And then here was another one. I'm going to have to dig these out again when I do my felting video because look how much fun this is. Yeah, I'm going to talk about how I did this. Because here's another one that I was going to put a zipper in, but I just haven't gotten to yet. So they're really cute, but they're not finished yet. And these were some patches that I had found that I thought some elephant patches that I thought might go on there. So all of these little goodies were inside this little felted pouch. Okay, here's another, here's that pattern I was talking about, the Hitchhiker Beyond. Strickmick by Martina Bam. She's German, so Strickmick means something in German, like stitch it or something. Okay, so it's the same pattern as that yellow one I just took off. little spikes going around. I don't know if I'm gonna, I'm not, I don't know. I mean, it's nice yarn. It's all right. It's just not thrilling. And you know what? If it's not thrilling, I'm not going to finish it. Wait, I dropped the ball of yarn, rolled across the kitchen. So this is another one that I'm probably going in the frog box. Okay. Here is, wow, I have a lot of projects, don't I? Okay, here is another pair of socks. Look at how nice they are. Beautiful. What's missing? The heels. So look at the stripes. This is self-striping yarn. How cool is that? And so there's a technique where it's called an afterthought heel. So you complete the sock. I have the solid, it's going to match the toe. Okay, so it's going to be a solid turquoise heel. It's called an afterthought heel, where you actually cut a slit open and then use that hole to create the heel. So I must have been scared to cut the hole because I just did the tubes and I haven't gotten past there yet. So there's another really close but not quite done. Okay, moving on to some bigger projects. Okay, here's a sweater. Now I know this was from 2013. I'm so close. It's called the Shell Seeker. Look at how the pockets in the front. All I have to do is finish the sleeves. What's wrong with me? How cute is this with the little pockets? I love it. And that was a technique I had to figure out how to do. It was a knit along at the yarn store in 2013, and I don't know why I never finished. This is why I save all the labels from my yarn, because this is the yarn. It was in the package with this. And I can go over here and see exactly which color and which dye lot that I got. Where is it? There it is. So that if I ended up not having enough, I could search to find another ball of yarn. I don't know if these 2 balls are going to be enough to finish my sleeves. That's making me a little bit nervous. Oh, and here I just found a little swatch. That's cute. Swatch is where you make a little piece before you start your project, and then you can measure how many stitches per inch, or you can wash it and see what's going to happen to it, or see if you like your colors next to each other. So this is called the Shell Seeker sweater that I started in 2013. Okay, still going. Okay, this is baby alpaca. It's so soft. I put it on the hanger just so that you could, it could hold it up. Okay, now here's where you can see these are my homemade stitch markers. You can use yarn of a contrasting color to separate all my pattern repeats. Here's another, it's a kind of a feather and fan, but it has this ridge in between. So this one I think, and another pair of great needles. Wow, look at these. For this one I think I'm actually going to cast off and make it for a cat blanket. They would just love this. It's so soft. Rather than continuing. So this I can cast off with it right now and start to use it. So that one I will finish. Okay, now these are some more of my more recent FOs. The red sweater was recent, the pink one. This is from an Advent kit. So it's a shawl, but I haven't finished it. I bought my friend Kathleen the same kit, and she finished hers 2 years ago because she's good about finishing projects. So an Advent kit happens at Christmas time, and you order it, and it came with 24 different colors. If you count them all, I think I was up to maybe 18 or 19. And every day you get to open a new color and work on a new section, and you're like, oh, that's terrific. Well, I only got, I don't know what one I got up to, but in the bag over there I still have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's what I thought. So I got up to 18. There would still be 7 more to go. So I might finish it. I don't know. It might be big enough to use as it is. But I do like it. I'm not going to get rid of it. Okay, look at this cute sweater. Oops, all my yarn is getting tangled up. Hold on. Okay. Look at these fun colors. This bright green is just holding my stitches till I make the sleeves. So this is what's called a fade. I just fade one color into the next. So I went white, then I went into the black, and then I went into the blue. Now I went into the green, the orange, and I am finishing with back to the white. So it's really cute. And I'm thinking about making this into a little cropped sweater to just pop over skirts and stuff. So it's actually, and I might even just keep it short sleeve. So this one is actually really close to being done, and the colors are just fabulous. I mean, how can you not look at those? Okay, and I believe these are all, not all hedgehog. Some of them are hedgehog DK, and I also mixed this the same yarn, some of the colors from the leg warmers, and it's a lady in over in England. Okay, so these are some of the same yarns that I'm using in here that I got. So, love this fade sweater, almost done. Okay, I think I only have 2 more things, 3 more, 4 more, goodness gracious. Okay, wait, here's a way back UFO. This is a pocketbook that I felted. Look how nice this is. I was going to enter it into the fair, but I never finished it. And inside here I have fabric to line it. Beautiful. Wow. I have, wow, look at these beautiful leather handle. Whoops, can you see? Sorry, I'm a little crooked. I have a beautiful leather handle. And I also have a ring to go here and the beautiful leather handle. Why haven't I finished it? I have no idea. Isn't that gorgeous? I loved this yarn. I believe this is a Nani pattern. Noni. Yep, Nani the cinch. And you can either felt it or unfelt it. And it's going to be really cute if I ever finish it. So then unfinished purse. There's the lining, stuff it back in. There's a tiny little work in progress. This is the purple bandana, but I just didn't finish it. I don't think it's going to end up being big enough. I was going to give it to my sister-in-law because she's a teacher and her school colors are purple and white, but I don't know if it's going to end up being big enough to be a bandana. Might end up, it could be I could do it for a hair thing too. I don't know. All I have, and that's why I just kind of gave up. I don't know if I have enough. So therefore, don't keep knitting. Just cast on something new. That's how I solve all my problems. Just cast on a new project. And guess what I'm doing today? Casting on another new project. Okay, 2 more to go. 3 more to go. This was another one of those projects that you can just kick around because it's the same. Every row is the same pattern. Another great pair of needles. Wow. No wonder I can't find them all. Oh, wow. This is, okay, terrific. Look at this. This is mohair. It's so light and fluffy. Color is called Monarch. This is another Hedgehog Fibers, the mohair Monarch. Love it. It's so thin that you can just pull it right through. Light and fluffy. So maybe I'll just cast off and be done with it. Let's see if I have enough length. Is it long enough to be a scarf? It sure is. Okay. So maybe I'll just cast off and move on and stop worrying about finishing up the whole ball. And there's no rules that says I have to go until the whole ball is gone. If I want to cast it off, I can. Okay, and 2 more. Here's one that I am currently working on. It's going to be a cowl. Look at this gorgeous texture. I mean, how do you... I'm completely obsessed with the texture and the colors. Well, if I'm that obsessed, then why didn't I finish it? Good question. I probably cast on something else. So this is, I can't remember how it goes, but it's going to be a fabulous cowl. Look at that. Oh, yes. I actually already finished one in this pattern in camouflage colors to go with my camo outfits. And what else is left? Okay, this is my farm yarn, Vermont farm yarn shawl, which I love. Oh my goodness, I stopped right in the middle of a row. Talk about lazy. Okay, it's getting there. Down here has some lace. I talked about this in a video I did back in August where I was just about to start it. This is another slow project. I'm not in a hurry to finish it because I love this yarn so much. So this one, I'm not in a hurry to finish. I haven't been able to knit the last couple of days. I knit too hard with my wrist. Knitting with cotton, like that big red heavy one, is hard because cotton does not stretch. Wool is squishy and stretchy. Cotton doesn't stretch. So, oh, isn't this fun? This is a work in progress because I am going to finish it. It's my second Halloween stocking. The first one doesn't count as a UFO because I actually finished it. So I'll have to do another video with finished, almost done. But this is cotton, which doesn't stretch, and my wrist was getting really sore because I did two. This is the second one in a row in 2 weeks, and I was knitting and knitting and knitting, and I overused my wrist. So I've been taking a little break from the cotton on purpose. And when I cast something back on with wool, it was so soft and squishy. I realized why I don't usually ever knit with cotton. So I lost count of how many whips, and I say we'll do a final count. There's 3 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, there was 2 in there. 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh my word. 16, 17, 18. Let's just call both of these together. 19. My sloth. 20. Airplane scarf. 21. Almost done. Over here we have sweater. 22. Ends woven in. 23. Those are the water bottles. We'll just call those all one. 24. Pair of socks. 25. Cowl. 26. Mitts. 27. Oh gosh. Purse. 28. And my big gorgeous blanket. 29. And if you have been a wonderful audience waiting this long, then you deserve to see the cat. Hey, little girl. Come wake up. Can they see you? Huh? Want to come say hi to the camera? Oh my goodness. There she is. I just woke her up from her nap. Say hi, everybody. This is Gwen. Hi. Thank you for watching my video, and thank you for your interest in all my UFOs and whips. If you have any comments, comment which one do you think I should finish. If there's any that are your favorite, let me know, okay? Because I have a lot of work to do. Okay, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Happy knitting, everybody.